Taiwan is condemning Chinese saber rattling just off its coast as irrational and accusing Beijing of undermining regional peace. China fired several missiles into the waters of Taiwan today in live fire military exercises. Video posted on Weibo shows rockets being launched from Pingtan County. Now, one of the closest points on the mainland to Taiwan, you can see it on your screen there, China's largest ever drills in Taiwan Strait, coming one day after U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi paid a visit to Taiwanese officials, angering Beijing. She's now moved on to South Korea and Japan, but the impact of her controversial stop in Taipei is still being felt around Taiwan. Let's now go live to Beijing, where Selena Wang is standing by. It is incredible to see the wrath coming through from the Chinese military, and interesting to see how close they are getting. What does this actually mean, this show of force? Because we had anticipated that they would want to show strength. We just know to what extent it would manifest.
Well, look, the message here that Beijing is really trying to send is that our powerful military has the capability to completely choke off Taiwan from the rest of the world. And to your point, we were expecting this show of muscular force because China needed to live up to the extreme threats they were making leading up to this point. But one of the biggest impacts potentially of these drills is going to be psychological. It's intimidation. It is sparking fear about what could come, because even though we may not see this current crisis escalate into something more, this Pelosi visit could basically be an excuse for China to change the status quo. And we're talking about over the long run, in the months, years to come, increase that coercion of Taiwan even more.
Missiles firing into the sea around Taiwan. Fighter jets scrambling to take off. And plumes of smoke seen by residents in the Chinese city closest to Taiwan. The video shows live rockets being fired towards the Taiwan Straits. Moments later, state media confirmed the launch. The woman filming says, "Wow, we're witnessing history." Beijing unleashing a show of force on Taiwan over U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island. China's military claims it's starting the largest ever drills around the island.
My teammates and I flew our fighter and headed for the airspaces around the Taiwan island. We are ready for combat and able to fight at any time.
Defying Beijing's threats, Pelosi met with Taiwan's president and key lawmakers and business leaders. Crowds of supporters in Taipei welcomed her.
Taiwan has been an island of resilience, and now more than ever, America's solidarity with Taiwan is crucial, and that is the message we are bringing here today.
China's foreign ministry says the trip is a, quote, outright farce. Taiwan calls this the median line. More than 20 Chinese warplanes crossed the line the day after Pelosi landed, an unprecedented number.
They're demonstrating that they don't recognize Taiwan's lines because they don't recognize Taiwan. So this is an act of political warfare, psychological warfare, and information warfare. It's also a very important signal to China's own people to demonstrate its resolve.
These boxes encircling the island are where Beijing says their military drills are happening. It's a blockade, say both Beijing and Taipei, and a major provocation in the eyes of Taiwan and the U.S. But to a lot of Chinese citizens, it's not enough, especially after officials had hyped up expectations of an unprecedented military response. Disappointed, wrote one person on China's Twitter-like platform Weibo. Another mocked that its leaders should speak less, do more. But far from speaking less, officials are issuing one fiery statement after another, all condemning Pelosi's trip. It also banned imports of thousands of food items from Taiwan and suspended exports of natural sand, a key component in semiconductor chips. All of this rage just over a 2-day visit. Pelosi's presence in Taiwan, a slap in the face to Beijing, which insists the self-governed island is a rebel Chinese province. Pelosi is out of Taiwan, but she left a crisis behind her. Beijing's retaliation is just getting started.
As a result of these drills, we're already seeing Taiwan having to reroute some vessels as well as international flights. It's impacted hundreds of flights, and this is one of the busiest waterways in the world, so it threatens to upend global trade as well. But when we look at this strong reaction from China, we have to remember that it's also directed at the audience here at home, because Xi Jinping, China's leader, needs to prove to its people that he is showing the world that there is a price to be paid for Taiwan to host House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. There's a lot of propaganda, striking imagery, inflammatory language around these military drills, but what's important to watch is how far China actually goes with these military drills, not how far state media claims they will go, Eleni.
Yeah, and you say in your piece, Beijing's retaliation is just getting started. I think this is one of the questions we've been asking in the lead up to Nancy Pelosi's trip. Is this going to be a turning point in relations between the US and China and Taiwan? It seems that has been a turning point. What are you hearing from some of the analysts that you're speaking to? How far will China take this?
Well, exactly. We are already at a decades low point in the relationship between the U.S. and China, and this is just adding a further friction point. And the concern is that with all of the mistrust, that there's really no off-ramp from here. And when it comes to Taiwan and China, all of these military assets on the ground, it just increases the risk of a miscalculation that could spiral into something greater. Even though Chinese leader Xi Jinping does not want this to turn into a direct conflict, it's not in China's best interest for that to happen, this increases the risk that it could. Now, however, when I speak to some analysts, they say, look, there's also a concern that this Pelosi visit gives China an opportunity to practice these simulations, like what they're calling a simulated blockade. It gives China an excuse to use this as an opportunity to step up its diplomatic, its political, its economic coercion of Taiwan. China is extremely indignant over this, and in order to save face with the people at home as well, they've got to show this strong message, this strong reaction that is not going to last just a few days or even a few months. Yeah. This could have ramifications in the years to come, Eleni.